Hello fellow readers and readeresses, and welcome to the God only knows which installment of The Lord of the Reeds 2, The Two Libraries, the Most Precious TBR game. Today, we shall be selecting my TBR for December, and this being a very special, very festive month, I have outfitted myself somewhat appropriately. And yes, this is in fact PJs. Now, after the absolute shellacking I took by the game last month, I am hoping for a little bit more civilized outcome this time, though if history is any indicator, my hopes are in vain. Nevertheless, human nature dictates that we hope in the face of any and all odds. Or something. But first, if you're not familiar with The Lord of the Reeds and you wish to become intimately acquainted with it, you can watch this video over here. But in a nutshell, we need to get from here to here by rolling a 12-sided dice as many times as it takes to achieve this goal, and each time we land on a tile, we pick a book to correspond to its prompt. Speaking of tiles, there are 4 kinds, starting with the empty tile, which has no prompt, so upon landing on it, I will have to pull one of the prompt cards. There are overall 100 of those, and each of them contains a different Lord of the Rings related reading prompt. I learned to say that without mistakes. Next we have the TBR jar tile, and when I land on it, I will have to pull one of the books from the TBR jar, and if you're curious as to what's inside, you can watch the January TBR video. Then we have the series tile, upon landing on which I will be prompted to pick one of the series I currently have stuck in progress and continue with it. And last, and definitely least, we have the Dead Marshes tile, which not only prompts me to go back either to the previous Dead Marshes tile or to the beginning of the game, but to add insult to injury, I will also have to pull one of the books from the bookshelf jar, which contains all the books that I currently own and haven't yet read, though that's a lie because it's almost all the books that I currently own. As I mentioned, I think last time, I still haven't put any of the books that I purchased in 2025 in the jar, which is a big mistake because I think I'm the most excited about those. Oh well, wouldn't be a real punishment if I made it easy, right? And when I reach the end of the map, I get to pick one book without a prompt as a reward for all of my efforts. And that's pretty much it. If you like The Lord of the Reeds and you wish to play it for yourself, I have provided both printable and digital version, both of which you can find in the video description. Enjoy! Now, before we start actually playing the game, there is one more thing left to do, and that is to look at the prompt cards I got last time and see whether I get to add them to my collection or not, plus count the extra points that Gimli could potentially give me, though I don't know how many of those I actually deserved. We'll see. Okay, so these won't be in order because I didn't write them down last month, or at least I don't remember doing it, and I don't like watching my videos, so I opted to not do that. So we're gonna start randomly with Arwen, which is a prompt card that is a part of the Elves collection, and its prompt is read a book with a star on the cover or in the title. For this one I chose Hogfather by Terry Pratchett, and unfortunately I didn't read it, and I have a very good reason for that, but in order to find that out, you will have to watch my upcoming reading wrap-up for October and November. Next we have I Am No Man, which is a part of the Chills collection, and its prompt is read a book by a female author. For this one I chose Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, and I was able to finish it. Then we have Ring of Barahir, which is a part of the Rings of Middle-earth collection, and its prompt is a book recommended by a favorite author. For this one I chose Averoigne Chronicles by Clark Ashton Smith, and I am very happy to say that I was able to finish it. Then we have Yavanna, which is a part of the Valar collection, and its prompt is read a book that has a fruit or vegetable on the cover or in the title. For this one I chose to reread Winter by Marissa Meyer, but unfortunately I wasn't even able to get to it. Then I got The Last Alliance of Elves and Men, which is a part of the Battles collection, and its prompt is read a buddy read book. For this one I chose The Crystal Shard by R.A. Salvatore, which is a buddy read with the people on my Discord, but unfortunately while I started reading it, I wasn't able to finish it. And the last prompt card is Bilbo's Birthday Party, which is a part of the Hobbits collection, and its prompt is read a book published in your year/month of birth. For this one I chose to go with Sphere by Michael Crichton, and I'm very happy to say that I was able to finish it. And so at the end, 3 prompt cards get added to my collection and 3 go back into the deck. In addition to that, we had Gimli's special skill, Digging Deep, which would award me with 1 point for every book that I finish, which I have owned for more than a year. Unfortunately for me, the only book that I finished and qualified for that was The City of Brass by Shannon Chakraborty, so I only get 1 point. Now that all of that nonsense is out of the way, it's finally time to play the game for my December TBR, starting by rolling to see who's gonna be my companion this month. And we have a 9. which means that my companion for today will be Frodo with his special skill, the Bearer of the Wand, which allows me to cover 2 prompts with 1 book, but only once, which is still pretty good, and I'm really happy that he's gonna be the last character I play with as my companion for this year. And little Frodo goes on the board as my avatar. That done, it's finally time for roll number 1. This is my favorite moment of the game, when the enthusiasm is still strong and depression hasn't settled. Alright, let's go. And we have a 7. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we'll start with the prompt cards. Alright, that was a somewhat decent start. I don't want to complain, even though, well, I kind of want to. Anyway, let's see what prompt number 1 is going to be. Feanor, read a fantasy book. Pfft, perfect. Nothing easier than this, honestly. I just have to decide which one. So, give me a second. Alright, so I thought about this for a few minutes, and honestly, I tried to make a very, how should I say, smart choice in a way, you know, read books that would finish series I've already started and, I don't know, kind of satisfy the curiosity of my audience. But to be perfectly honest, the book that I want to read is a book that the majority of you probably wouldn't be able to, because it's in Bulgarian. I mean, I've only read 1 book from this series, but I've enjoyed it immensely, and I think it has the potential to be enjoyed by a lot of people. I don't know why I'm still postponing this. So the book is called Fury. I guess it's how you would translate it to English. It's actually more of a berserker state caused by fury. By Emil Minchev. This is an adult, futuristic urban fantasy about a werewolf detective, and I know this sounds insane, but it's really, really funny. If you're a fan of the Dresden Files, I think you would enjoy this very much, and maybe even more at times. I don't know. The setting is very cool. The action is really well paced. The author manages to unveil the mysteries in a very intriguing way, which I very much enjoy. I read the first book, Knack, a month and a half ago, I think, and I enjoyed it so very much. And I want to read the second one, and I already ordered it, mind you. It's gonna arrive one of these days. I don't have it just yet, but I'm very much looking forward to continuing with it. This was a recommendation by the husband of a very good friend of mine, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. I'm very, very thankful for that. So this is going to be book number 1 for December, because this is what I want to read. And again, I realize that I'm talking about a book that the vast majority of you can't currently read, but, well, such is life. We can't always have everything, and I'm hoping that very soon in the future you'll be able to also read it. I'm talking like I have any say in that. I don't know the author. I have nothing to do with the publishing industry, but I just think that it would be a great idea to translate this book, and if there's anything I can do about it, and I have any time, I probably would do it. Alright, book number 1 has been selected, and I am really happy with this choice. This is a book I was really, really looking forward to reading, and I'm happy that I was able to sneak it onto the December TBR and as book number 1. Now, let's get to roll number 2. A 4. Alright. Okay, a bit slow, but we are skipping the first Dead Marshes tile, and that's always a win. So we'll do the series tile. Alright, this was a very, very nice landing, because it gives me the opportunity to yet again add a book that I was very much looking forward to. It's actually a manga, and if you've watched any of my recent TBRs, you probably can already guess which one it is, and that is Full Metal Alchemist Volume 14 by Hiromu Arakawa. This is my favorite manga series thus far, though I always like to mention that I haven't read that many, to be honest. But during the past few months, I've been putting Full Metal Alchemist as series continuation almost every time I land on the series, and this is no exception. The series is getting so good, and we're nearing the end, and I am both looking forward to it and scared to death what is going to happen to my favorite characters, because the series is brutal. It has a very cool setting. We follow 2 brothers who try to resurrect their mom from the dead using alchemy, and in the process one of them loses his entire body and the other one 2 limbs, and now they're going around trying to find a way to restore their bodies, uncovering mysteries both about the nature of alchemy alchemy and the nature of the country they live in. This is a very highly militaristic fantasy, and it's just so cozy and so cool and so brutal at the same time. I highly recommend it if you haven't read any manga and you think this is not for you. I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee anything, but I'm pretty sure this will change your mind. Wait, why didn't I show it? 1 second. There, that's the one. That's volume 14 of Full Metal Alchemist, the Full Metal edition. Alright, 2 books down, and I am looking forward to both of them so very much. This TBR is starting great. I'm just hoping we'll start to move a little bit faster from now on. So, let's get to roll number 3. A 7. Very nice. Oh, you know what? Guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we will go back. Terrible. Well, that's basically the opposite of what I was hoping for, but it doesn't matter. I hope I'll get a good book. The Little Prince. Oh, okay. Okay, this is one of my favorite books ever. This is a book that I have read already multiple times. Matter of fact, I've been reading it every year on the 31st of December. But let me get it and I'll talk about it more. So, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry is one of my favorite books of all time. This is qualified as literary nonsense, and the first time I read it, I was 11 or 12 years old, and I thought this was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, and it's normal because it's allegory through and through, and when you're a little bit younger, you can't yet interpret those things, or at least in the general case, I surely couldn't. And then, I don't know how many years after that, I read it again and I found it mesmerizing. And as I said, for the past few years, I've been reading it on the 31st of December every single time, and I was gonna do it again. This was gonna be my book to pick for free choice at the end of the map, and now the game serves it to me in a little bit of a bad situation in a way, but it doesn't feel that way because of this book. I am so happy that I got it. It feels, well, I don't want to sound too woo-woo, but it feels kind of like a sign. And yeah, I'm grateful. All right, we had a bit of a snag, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, so not everything is bad. Now, let's get to roll number 4. A 5. All right. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we will do the prompt cards again. Well, we're not moving with great speed, but I'm hoping we're gonna get a quality book. So, let's see what prompt number 4 is going to be. Mount Doom, read an unwhole candidate. Oh, why? I don't want to do this. Okay, so for those of you who aren't necessarily too familiar with the concept of an unwhole candidate, it's a book that I'm considering getting rid of, and usually for those I give them 20 to 50 pages just to see whether I'm going to be into them or whether they have potential to be a book that's interesting to me, and then I decide whether to keep or unwhole. However, this time I will have to read it all, and the book that I chose to go with is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. This is a YA fantasy. I'm suspecting there's romance in it, and I don't have any idea why I purchased it. I know for a fact that a booktuber talked about it many years ago, well, some years ago. I purchased it based on hearing about it and seeing it in a store here. It was a pure FOMO thing. I have no reason to be excited about this book. However, it looks to be a darker one, judging by the cover, and I am hoping there's going to be some devastation to keep me interested. And again, I can't remember a single thing about this book. It says here, a future chieftain, a fugitive prince, a too cunning bodyguard, and one grumpy gray tabby. So I mean, there's more from this synopsis, but I'm not gonna go through reading it. I'm gonna discover what the book is about when I start reading it. But you know what the worst thing is? I I actually bought the second book in the series as well, The Faithless Hawk. Now, why did I do that? I have absolutely no clue. I think I saw them both in the store at the time, and I was thinking, oh, I shouldn't miss it, because here in Bulgaria, whenever you see a book in English in a store, it's usually 1 to 2 copies, and it's a race to get to them before somebody else buys them. And I guess I got scared that somebody else is, I don't know. I was still in the book buying frenzy at the time. That was, I suppose, 2022. Either way, it's a very nice floppy paperback. It could be a great book, all right? I just generally don't get gripped by the way YA books tell a story anymore. And that's not to pretend to be too intellectual, obviously. I'm always down for a nice, easy, good time. So I'm hoping that this one is going to provide it. If not, both it and The Faithless Hawk are going to be on hold. Alright, book number 4 has been selected, and as I already said, I'm not too excited about it, but it is what it is. So let's get to roll number 5. A 6? Oh, please tell me this is not gonna land me in big trouble. I wish we were a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Phone cards. Okay, so we were able to pass by the second Dead Marshes tile, and I can't tell you how happy that makes me. Now let's see what prompt number 5 is going to be. Warning of winter. Read a book set in winter. Okay, this is so very appropriate. I just have to think about a book. Give me a second. Alright, this took me absolutely forever to decide, kind of surprisingly, because I know there are a lot of books that I own that are set in winter and some that I even want to read. But for some reason, I was feeling kind of like mystery, murder mystery, crime, thriller, something of that sort. Something that's both cozy and fast-paced. And what I thought about immediately was Jack Reacher. This is one of my favorite series, and I haven't read any of the books for a long time now. So I did a bit of Googling, and it appears that there's one book from the Jack Reacher series that is explicitly set in winter, and that is 61 Hours. The book is obviously by Lee Child and is the 14th book in the series. Now, I've already read up to book 10, but technically speaking, you can read the books from the series out of order, and I think that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read this one now because I really want to. I don't own it, but I'm either gonna order it and hope it will arrive before Christmas, which it probably won't, but I can also buy it as an ebook and read it in that way, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm really looking forward to this. I had forgotten how much I enjoy this series, and as soon as I looked at my shelves, this was the first thing that kind of came to mind, and I've been scrambling trying to figure out a way to sneak it onto the TBR, and I'm gonna, and I'm really, really excited about it. And I know that's not typically what people think about when they think of winter books. It would either be a cozy fantasy or some sort of Christmas book, but for me, coziness very often is related to this sort of adventurous thriller that we see in Jack Reacher, because these are the movies that we watched back in the day. So, there. All right, we have, is it 5 books on the TBR already? I forgot what the last roll was. That's how long ago I did it. But I'm really happy about this book, and I'm hoping I'll be able to find it physically on time, because I prefer to read that way. But if I don't, ebooks are always an option. Now, let's get to roll number 6, if I'm not mistaken. A 4. Great. I feel like I'm sighing a lot in this video. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we'll do the prom cards yet again. My goodness, we are veritably crawling through this map at this point. I just hope we've managed to finish it today, because... Anyways, let's see what prom number 6 is going to be. Nameless Things. Read a book that starts with the same letter as your name. Didn't I already? Oh, no, it was the... Okay, so I've gotten a prompt before that asked me to read a book whose author's name starts with the same letter as mine. But okay. Oh, I already know which book I'm going to select. Okay, so recently I've been getting more and more into horror books, and as such, I can't help but read more Stephen King. And I decided to go through his books in chronological order, and since I've already read Carrie, which is his first published book if I'm not mistaken, and the second one appears to be Salem's Lot, this is the one that I'm gonna choose. I think the previous time when I was asked to read a book whose author's name starts with the same letter as mine, it was again Stephen King, and I think it was in January, which is a very funny coincidence that we're starting the year with him and finishing it with him with a very similar prompt. It's just fate. But yeah, I don't know what the story is about. I have some guesses based on the title, but I haven't read the synopsis, and I know that it's very popular and a lot of people find it scary and interesting and well written, and I'm looking forward to finding out for myself. I have already ordered the book and it's supposed to arrive one of these days. Kind of like an early Christmas present for myself, you know. And clearly, being that my name is Silvia, starting with an S, Salem's Lot definitely applies to this particular prompt. So cool. Alright, book number 6 has been selected, and it was a very nice coincidence because I was going to try to read it in December anyway. Now, I don't want to look at the map, I don't want to calculate how much I want or don't want to get from the dice, because as soon as I do, this sneaky a-hole is going to roll the exact number I don't want. So, let's just get into roll number 7. Are you kidding me? 5. Great. I mean, why are these small numbers happening? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trump cards. What a surprise. Alright, so this was not ideal, but it was also not terrible. So I guess glass half, whatever. Alright, let's see what prompt number 7 is going to be. It's been a long day, guys. 3 Elven Rings. Read a book from a trilogy. Alright, this is not terrible. I'm just gonna have to think about trilogies and figure out maybe. Okay, so I thought about this a little bit. I looked through the trilogies that I've already started reading, and I think I made a decision that I probably would have made anyway. But the book that I chose to go with is Empire of the Dawn by J. Kristoff. This is an adult vampire horror / fantasy, and the third and final book in the Empire of the Vampire series. I've read the first 2 books, obviously, prior, and I've enjoyed them, though only partially. I have some complaints, but generally speaking, it's a vibe and it's mood and whatever the young kids say these days. It's an interesting series, and I'm looking forward to finding out how it ends. The book came out recently, somewhat recently, I think, and I've ordered it, and I'm expecting it to arrive one of these days. And I'm laughing because I've been saying that quite a lot recently, and yeah, I have no excuse for buying so many books, and I don't think I need one, so there. To be honest, I have heard some mixed opinions about this particular book, and we'll see. I mean, as I said, I've already not been entirely impressed with the series, so my expectations aren't to the roof, but I'm looking forward to some entertaining good times. Okay, my friends, we have 7 books on the TBR. We are dangerously close to the last Ed Marsh's tile, and if I land on it, it will be funny, but not really. Okay, let's go for roll number 8. A 7. Oh, thank you. Okay, so here's the thing. I got so excited about finishing the map that I actually forgot to film finishing it. So this month we'll have no finishing footage. My apologies, etc., etc. Okay, so we're finally out of the map, and this couldn't have come soon enough, but I had to spend a little bit of time thinking about the book that I was going to choose because, as I already mentioned, I was going to select The Little Prince. And when I thought about what I wanted to read, I felt very much in the mood for sci-fi, and I had multiple choices, but I decided to go with my most recent sci-fi purchase, and that is Last and First Man by Olaf Stapledon. I know nothing about this book. It comes very highly recommended by a friend of mine, and the way that he described it made me want to read it very much, although I can't now remember exactly what he said. This is a classic sci-fi, and I don't even know if it's a standalone or a part of a series. We'll find out as we go. I'm very much looking forward to it. As I said, I'm in the mood for sci-fi. This one sounds like it's going to be a good one. And so, to summarize, my TBR for December of 2025 is going to include Fury by Emil Minchev, Full Metal Alchemist Volume 14 by Hiromu Arakawa, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen, 61 Hours by Lee Child, Salem's Lot by Stephen King, Empire of the Dawn by J. Kristoff, and Last and First Men by Olaf Stapledon, which makes a total of 8 books, and while that's not undoable, I kind of doubt I'll be able to read all of the books. Still, it's a pretty good pool to choose from. And yes, in case you're wondering, I did in fact forget to use Frodo's special skill yet again. I'm somehow better at forgetting and worse at remembering than you can ever imagine, so please don't estimate. And that, my friends, concludes my TBR for December. It's not a small one, and now that I think about it, I can already think of better choices for some of the prompts that I got, but it doesn't matter. I'm looking forward to reading pretty much all of these books, I think with one exception. Please let me know what you're reading in the month of December, and what is the book that you're most excited about. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to see me talk about some of the authors I've given up on, check out this video. Bye!